Hello family ថ្ងៃនេះខ្ញុំស្លម្ជូរគ្រឿងជាមួយឆ្អឹងជំនីជ្រូកហើយនឹងត្រកួនណាបងប្អូន Hi family today I'm cooking pork sparerib lemongrass sour soup with morning glory. It's called in Chinese called ong choy. So right now I'm preparing the lemongrass paste. I have about 6 slices of galangal root. For those who doesn't know what galangal root, this is how it look. Fresh galangal root. Okay, and then about 10 pieces of the small kaffir lime leaf. If you have the large one, just use maybe 6 pieces. And I'm using a handful of fresh peeled garlic and some turmeric. If you cannot find any fresh turmeric, you can use the powder one. Add about a tablespoon. And then I'm using about 5 small stalk of fresh lemongrass from my backyard. But if you cannot find any fresh lemongrass, you can just use the frozen one. But first I'm going to show you how much paste you need to make your soup. To hand slice a lemongrass, you need a very sharp knife. ពេលហាន់លក្រីបងប្អូនត្រូវការកាបិតនឹងមុតល្អបានហាន់ស្ដើងល្អ Okay, I'm gonna demonstrate how to hand slice fresh lemongrass. For the beginner, I suggest you hold one stalk at a time, and then you hold the lemongrass in an angle. You slide in an angle. That way you have more control, and you cut your lemongrass a little more thinner. ពេលយើងរៀនហាន់ដំបូងបងប្អូនយើងហាន់កាន់លក្រីតែម្ដងបានហើយយើងហាន់ពេលយើងហាន់រៀងប្រឆិត Okay, you hold at an angle and you slice. Just be careful, watch your finger. Slice at an angle so that way you have more control of the knife and for your safety of your finger. So I slice all my 5 stalks of lemongrass, and I think it's a bit too much, so I only use half cup of the sliced lemongrass. You just fill in the cup and then press it down. So just half cup of the lemongrass. You can use mortar to blend it, or you can use a blender. I'm going to use the blender because I don't have time. Time is running short. So blender it is, and I'm gonna put the lemongrass in here and then add all these ingredients. So all these ingredients go into the blender. Now I'm gonna add about half cup of water. Okay, so all the lemongrass is blended in the blender. It's nice and smooth. This is a pork spare rib that already been cut This is about 3 pounds. So the best thing to do is, I learned it from my mom. So this is an easy recipe. Pour the lemongrass paste into the meat. And you can use the blender cup to measure the water. After you put all the lemongrass paste in here, you mix with the meat. Okay, mix it all up. You add one tablespoon of tamarind powder. You can always add more later. So this is the tamarind powder I'm using. And then I'm gonna add a teaspoon of sea salt, a tablespoon of chicken bouillon powder, a teaspoon, add a teaspoon of sugar. You can add MSG, but I choose not to add MSG right now because the chicken powder contain MSG, and the tamarind powder also contain MSG. So I skip the MSG right now. And then I add a little bit of fish sauce, not too much, just a little bit first. You can add some more later. And then mix it. And then I'm gonna show you on the stove top. Cook outside, you can see better. So I'm gonna cook this on high heat. So after you cook about 10 minutes, you add about 4 cups of water into the pot. And just let it boil and cook the ribs for about 10 to 15 minutes. Right now I'm switching to a bigger pot because the other pot is too small, and I add a total of 6 cups of water and just let it simmer until the meat is fall off the bone. Boiling right now. I'm gonna remove the lid, that way it doesn't overflow and reduce the heat. So the soup cook about 30 minutes in a medium heat with 6 cups of water. I add a total of 2 tablespoons of tamarind powder, about 4 tablespoons of fish sauce. Now I'm gonna add a tablespoon of toasted curry leaf. I'm going to add vegetable in. The vegetable I cut in about 2 inches long. So mix it all in and let it boil for about 3 minutes or so. So this is perfect for 6 cups of water for this soup. And the vegetable is pretty much ready to be turned off the stove and ready to be served. Just remember, if you don't have the morning glory in your neighborhood store, you can use Thai eggplant, celery, or green papaya. And just make sure you add to your liking, adjust the flavor to your liking. So this is ready to be served. So the soup is ready to be served. I put it in a bowl. And make sure you have a little bowl of fish sauce and chili, so that way if people like to add a little more salt, then it's perfect for them to use it. សឡម្ជូរគ្រឿងឆ្អឹងជំនីជ្រូកណាឆ្អិនរួចរាល់ហើយបងប្អូន